In a previous video, I revealed the 3 absolute worst strength training splits hockey players should never do. Continuing with this topic today, we'll talk about the 3 best workout splits, the pros and cons, and at what stage of your training career should you use them. Starting with the first one, the 3 times per week full body routine. It's amazing to me that hockey players and team sports athletes in general follow bodybuilding splits when the strongest and most explosive athletes, pound for pound, are Olympic lifters and male gymnasts. What do both of them have in common? They train full body frequently, pretty much every day. That should open your eyes to how you should be training as well. I've said for years that full body routines are very effective at making beginners strong. You can take an athlete squat to 3 plates and beyond, and trap bar deadlift to 4 plus plates just doing that. I've done it with too many junior and pro hockey players to count. You don't need anything fancy to get to that level. A lot of guys assume they are more advanced in the gym than they really are, so they believe their workout should contain all the bells and whistles they see on social media, when in reality, they just need to stick to the basics and get fucking strong. The downside of full body workouts is that eventually recovery can become an issue, because as an athlete, you're not just in the gym lifting weights, you're also doing speed work, conditioning, and of course, practicing your sport. So if you're training your quads with barbell squats, Bulgarian split squats, lunges, and so on 3 times per week, it could be a tad too much. It's a fine line to walk between enough volume to grow, but not so much that it eats into other activities. And knowing what I know about hockey players, they always want to do more volume in the gym, because they have been brainwashed into believing that if you don't feel sore after workouts, then it wasn't effective. Definitely not true. To sidestep this issue, you can do upper-lower workouts, which is our second great training split. I used to put all my stronger guys on upper-lower splits several years ago, but don't use them that much anymore. I'll reveal what I do these days in a minute. To give you the basic overview of upper-lower, you'll train 4 times per week. On one day, you perform upper body exercises such as bench press, chin-ups, dips, rows, overhead press, and the next day you train the lower body. Deadlifts, squats, glute ham raises, back extensions, you get the gist. So why did I move away from upper-lower training? I noticed that with my stronger athletes, performance later during a workout would drop too much from the accumulated fatigue. Think on this for a minute. Going from full body 3 times a week to twice per week per muscle group on upper-lower workouts means you have to cram more volume into one session to perform the same weekly volume. Since you now have only 2 days to hit a specific muscle group instead of 3 days. The upper body can tolerate a lot of volume, but the legs and lower back, not so much. On a typical lower body day, you'll have a heavy Olympic lift variation, some type of deadlift or squat, also heavy, and then assistance work in the form of hip thrusts, walking lunges, whatever. That's a lot of stuff, and as the workout goes on, you'll get more and more tired, which leads to a large decrease in your performance, how much weight you can use, and how many reps you can complete. Also, all that volume you racked up on leg day will sabotage your speed days, because like I said before, you want to be fresh for sprints and jumps. If you're still limping from a lower body session when it's time for a speed workout, you're not gonna run as fast or jump as high as in a fresh state, which means you're not going to improve much, if at all. And what's the point of training if you're not getting better? Also, excessive muscle soreness won't help you on the ice. Sure, in the off season, there will be times where that happens because off-ice training is the priority, but it should not be your default state throughout the summer. So I would say upper-lower works best for guys just past the beginner stage, once you already have built a decent strength base, but you will notice when the time comes that you're moving such poundages that lower body sessions take too much out of you. Bringing us to the third great workout split, push-pull routines. This is something I first discovered around 5-6 years ago by reading Christian Thibodeau's article on T-Nation. He's a Canadian strength coach who has excellent training information. Thibodeau recommended splitting the body into push and pull sessions, meaning on push days you would train chest, shoulders, triceps, and quads, then on pull days you'd go back, biceps, glutes, hamstrings. I started playing with this style of training and found it very productive and enjoyable for me, so it was natural to then test it out with the hockey players I coach. It worked really well, guys were hitting PRs all summer, and it has been my go-to routine for stronger, more advanced athletes ever since. You might think it's too much, and at first I had similar reservations. You're training both the upper and lower body 4 times over the course of a week, which is a big leap from the typical hockey player routine that targets a body part once, twice max per week. So it's natural to assume that your performance will suffer, especially on leg exercises. But I found that's not the case. You can deadlift heavy on a Monday and set a personal record back squat on Tuesday. The primary muscles targeted are different. You're stressing the front side twice and the back side twice a week. So I never found the lack of recovery to be an issue. Not in my own training and not with my athletes. The great thing about push-pull compared to upper-lower workouts is that now it's easier to bounce back from whatever weekly volume you're doing because you have 4 sessions where you hit the legs instead of just 2. By spreading things out over multiple workouts per week, you never dig yourself too deep into a recovery hole. You give the body enough stress to cause an adaptation, a signal to get bigger and stronger. Then you come back tomorrow or the next day feeling well rested. Now you can use a little bit more weight, which means you will get stronger, faster, and the cycle keeps repeating. To me right now, this is the best way to train an athlete. It hits all the keynotes. You have enough frequency per muscle group per week to make gains. You never get too fatigued from a single workout or training week, and you're able to progress continuously. What more could you want? To see a full demonstration of how I pack on strength and size on my hockey players in the off season, I have a 4-part series that covers programming, exercises, sets, reps, the whole shebang throughout the summer. Click here to watch it.